Well, hello internets, here we are. Have ourselves a little bit of a vlog ahead of us. Thought I would, put one out there and see what happens. So yeah, here we go. Well, as our winter seems to be dragging on and taking forever, having more and more darker, gloomier, cold days than we seem to be having, warmer winter days. This winter has seemed to be dragging on forever, and we've had a lot of cold days this in 2022 so far anyway. I didn't get a chance to do any winter activities this year. No candy cane lane, no ice on white, no ice castle. There was a couple of opportunities to do, like the mile-long Christmas light display up around Edmonton, but couldn't financially drive all the way up there and back for that, so that kind of got shelved and put on the back burner. However, during these dark months where I've been stuck inside and not really have gone anywhere, not really had much interaction with the outside world, I've been still working on my paintings, still trying to keep my mind going by being creative, still trying to do some editing and keep things together on that end of things. As the weather here in early 2021 has been at the all-time cold, feels like it's even been colder this year than it has even in past winters. I am so glad that I'm warm inside, have this little apartment that is like perfect for me, for my life, perfect for what I want to do and things like that. I don't have to go out at all to leave the apartment to do anything for virtually any reason at all. Walking the dog is pretty much the only mandatory thing that I have to do any day. Since everything changed there in early January, I haven't been receiving any on-demand taxi service calls, any impromptu drives out to go feed her horse or anything like that. Just been here in my little bubble, don't have to leave for any reasons at all. I don't have any more stress than I need to have. Haven't been creating any stress or looking for any stress, and been just planning out my next series of paintings. My next series of paintings are going to be getting progressively harder and harder. Probably the next 10 or 12 or so, until it reaches the peak, which will be like the last 2 or 3 of my paintings will be one of the most hardest that I've ever done, and I'm hoping to have all of them done before spring, hoping to have all of that good to go to hang up my walls before my creativity disappears for the warm weather. Sometimes my hands can't keep up with my creative ambitions. Sometimes my body gives out. Sometimes I have to sit. Sometimes I have to rest. Sometimes I have to let things go for a while and recover. Sometimes my filming and editing sprees that I go on take a lot out of me, and it takes a bit to recover from them. And then once I got the footage edited and uploaded, then well, it's another break for a little bit, and then I recover and then go on from there. It's a hobby, it's a pastime, it's a way to survive those long dark nights where a person can't sleep. It's a way to keep the mind sharp. It's a way to keep creative things going. It's a way to distract yourself from the chaos in the world around you. There's been times in my past where my videos allowed me to survive what was going on around me. There's times in my past where my videos kept me distracted from what was going on around me. That may or may not have been a good thing, but at the same time, it allowed me to survive those years of the chaos and confusion. You know, if anything comes out of this whole YouTube thing, then if the fact that I've kept the majority of my mental sanity through everything that I went through, then I guess it makes the whole YouTube hobby, YouTube venture, all the expenses, everything that I've gone through for it, I guess worth it. You know, some people coffee with friends, some people go out and ski, some people jog, some people have extreme sports too, some people have other things they do to survive, to decompress from the stress of the work week. However, when you don't do any of those things, even if they're self-destructive things, and you have no way to decompress, no way to survive, no friends to talk to, or at least no friends that you trust to talk to open up, to bare yourself to, then what else is a person to do to work through some of the things they've been through? How is a person supposed to deal with some of the things unless they have a way to work through them? You know, whether it's just playing a guitar, or whether it's riding a horse, or, you know, whether it's going for a drive in the vehicle. And when I look back at some of the road footage I shot, some of the road footage was shot during times where I needed to get out, needed to think, needed to reevaluate things that was going on, needing to try to decide what the next course of action were. And since I moved to the apartment, the chaos, confusion, stress and stuff has been far less than what it once was. You know, trying to get back to where I once was and move on from there. So by doing the hobbies or pastimes that I've been doing, it has helped me move on from some of that past things. And hey, you know, if you do paintings or so, you know, then you have something to show for it. At least you can hang the paintings on the walls and look at them. You may not ever sell any of them. You may not ever become famous from your paintings, you know, like these famous paintings, the famous artists that we talk about all these hundreds of years later. But at the same time, you know, you've had the enjoyment of making them, and you've had the enjoyment of them adding color to your walls all these years. Way back in the, what would have been late 90s, early 2000s, I got into candle making. Now in this little town that I live in, there wasn't really much place to buy candle supplies, or at least real candle supplies, and so I found a source for wax. Now, it probably wasn't the most efficient way of getting wax, because the wax I used was food grade wax when I probably could have used a cheaper quality wax. And As for the wicks for my candles, I would go to the dollar store and buy candles from the dollar store, cut them apart, and use those wicks for my candles, because there was no place at that time to buy candle making supplies. I would cut the food grade wax with the dollar store wax, and then I would tint it with Crayola crayons to get the colors, and I must have made quite a few dozen candles over those 6 months to a year or so. And even though it's been 20 years later, some of those candles are still around. Some of the people that I gave the candles to still have them in their china cabinet or their ornament cabinet. They've never even burnt them. Some of the people that burnt the candles said that they were some of the longest lasting candles that they ever experienced, because, well, they were solid. I don't know what the candle people do to the wax, if they inject air into it, or if they've got some other thing, chemical, or whatever they put in it, but some of their candles would be a pretty substantial candle, and when you melted it down, what came out of it was a cup and a half of wax, where the candle itself was a lot bigger than a cup and a half, where my candles were 100% wax other than the wick, so there was a lot of weight there to them. Didn't really sell my candles, didn't really make much off of them, period, at all. But at the same time, they were fun to make, and they were a learning experience to make. Kind of just like my paintings and a few of my other hobbies that I have done in the past. They were fun. May not have made a lot of money from them, but I had experience doing them, learned quite a bit, and moved on from there. But little idea that I had going around in my head that I thought I would share. It is what it is, and around we go. And as always, thanks for watching Maxwell's Vlogs. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.